Welcome everyone, Marcelo is my name. I'm the niche fragrance collector, and this is a question that I do get asked often. Actually, it was a question that I would ask of myself, and that is, how do I muscle up when it comes to my ability to detect notes in fragrances? I've had the privilege of actually meeting perfumers, and in this case here, I met with Matteo Frusciuni. I was in his atelier, which he calls the temple, by the way. And I asked him the question, how is it that you know, out of all the 400 raw ingredients that you have, what each of them smells like, so that when you're constructing a new fragrance that you can go, I need this versus that? His answer was very simple. I practice. He mentioned that he has a system where he grabs notes every day and smells them. Just smells this versus that versus this versus that, and just about locking it into his brain. If you want to see more about understanding how notes and how they play from a perfumer's point of view, have a look at these episodes that I created alongside Meo in his temple. So the key is this: if you want to become a perfumer, there's no short answer other than you need to find the raw ingredients. You need to understand what these notes are actually doing so that you can now construct them in perfumery. But if you're like me, who just loves perfume, and I want to understand, it's a hobby for me now, I want to understand how these perfumes work. What is it that I'm detecting? There's a joy in being able to go, I'm detecting ylang ylang, or, ooh, I think I can smell magnolia. It's almost like I want to pin a badge on my chest to say, I did a good job. So if you'd like to amp up in that regards, then there are 3 houses that I would recommend to you. And this is what I did. This is how I explore and develop my own sense of smell when it comes to understanding the different notes in perfumery. I love the house of Perris Monte Carlo. One thing that the perfumer Gianluca Perris does with this brand is that he celebrates the singularity of that note. In some cases, these notes come from a particular location across the world. So let's take patchouli, for instance. In this case here, he extracts his patchouli from an island called Nosy Be. It's off the coast of Madagascar. And the reason why he likes his patchouli from that place is because it has a chocolatey nuance to the fragrance. So what does patchouli smell like? It has multiple facets, just like you'll find that all the different core ingredients have multiple facets, and now the perfumer can play or accentuate or tone down depending on what creation they're doing. In this case here, patchouli from Nosy Be celebrates all aspects of the patchouli, which has a camphorous, mildewy kind of dampness to it. It has an earth-like quality. It does have wood-like elements, and it also is sweet. You'll find that the patchouli from Nosy Be is all of those aspects with the inclusion of this beautiful chocolate vibe that you begin to get on the dry down. On opening, you get this wonderful, vibrant sweetness to it. Woody-like, dampness is in there. But when this baby dries down, it goes into the glory of patchouli, which is the camphorous component of that beautiful, almost wet earth. You feel like you're in a rainforest. It's divine, it's divine. If you'd like to know more about this fragrance, I did do an episode that went into a lot more detail about where patchouli comes from and why this fragrance is something that needs to be in your collection. So let's explore another noted perfumery, in this case here, rose. I had an opportunity to meet with Luca Maffei from Atelier Fragranza Milano in his atelier. Mention this. So why do you love rose that much?
I love that is a mix of the soft and tender aspect of the petal of the rose and the green, spicy, crunchy effect of the leaf. My 3 favorite ingredients in perfumery: an aroma chemical that is cashmeran, the iris, and third place, the rose oil.
Right.
I always use these 3 ingredients.
That's another Perris Monte Carlo fragrance, celebrating in particular rose, the brightness, the freshness, the vibrancy, but also that very playful rose note in the fragrance. If you want something that's a little bit different, I love the house of Matiere Premiere. I love the way that Aurélien Guichard creates these fragrances. He has mentioned that what he likes is to create a central theme, in this case here, rose, and then he thinks to himself, in nature, rose isn't just rose. There are other elements and facets that make up the rose. It could be fruity when you first approach it. Then as you crush the petal, there is a peppery, deep rose sense to it. There's also the stem and the green of the leaves. So he wants to create this holistic view of what the rose is. In this case here, Radical Rose is his rose from his own personal organic farm. And what I love about this is that it's an incredible celebration of rose that a man can wear. Sometimes us men, we tend to be a little bit reluctant, a bit afraid of florals in our fragrance. If that is the case, I'd recommend to you Radical Rose. Apart from the fact that you'll understand now the different facets and nuances that make up a rose smell or scent, Radical Rose grabs all these pieces and creates it in one beautiful composition. On opening, you're detecting this beautiful sweet berry-like component. Aurélien Guichard uses both a saffron note and also a pink pepper. So you're getting the sweetness, this berry-like component to it. It then goes into this very beautiful full-bodied rose scent, but it's then supported in the base with patchouli and labdanum. So it never goes into a overtly feminine place. There is a woody greenness that seems to hold it all together. The whole composition is rose. However, as I said, these different facets and the way it's been constructed, you get a bright, fruity, vibrant rose on the opening. As it begins to dry down, you're getting a full-bodied rose. And finally, it's a rose with now woody elements to it. I strongly recommend this fragrance. If you want to understand how the core note works, I'd recommend the full house of Matiere Premiere. He has some really exceptional fragrances. I'd recommend to you Encens Suave. If you like incense, check out that fragrance. You'll see how incense plays so beautifully from opening all the way through, and the whole time you're detecting incense, not realizing that there are opening, heart, and base notes that create this very round composition. Now, this is a new house that I've discovered. It's called Obvious, French house. And what I love what these guys have done is that they've grabbed a central theme. In this case, En Bois is woods. And it's saying this is a wood fragrance. Now, I did spray it on card, but personally performs better on skin. So guess what? If you are new to niche perfumery, I'd recommend start with these guys. You'll find that they're super cost effective. The one thing that I love about niche perfumery is the ability of the fragrance to evolve. It's not linear. It doesn't, where you spray is what it is and then it stays in that position. In fact, the Obvious fragrances begin at a place, move to somewhere else, and then dry down finally at a whole different location. Always celebrating the core theme of that fragrance, and in this case, woods. I sprayed it early on card, and I'm telling you there's a massive difference between smelling it here and smelling it there. You're getting a beautiful dry black pepper. There is this woody, peppery scent profile to it. As this fragrance continues to evolve, you'll be getting a beautiful cedar-like quality to it. Finally, it dries down to this very dry, wood-like element, which is like a papyrus, has a beautiful papyrus scent profile to it. If you love woody fragrances, sometimes I find that woody fragrances still the mind. En Bois is something that I would recommend to you. And then the entire collection is also spectacular. If you love fig, then I'd recommend to you En Figuier. It's incredible. It has, believe it or not, a marine note to it. What they're saying in this case here is that you are now smelling this fig tree while standing on a cliff in Corsica, of all places, overseeing the ocean, but detecting this beautiful marine fig that's next to you. It's quite spectacular. As a summer fragrance, really, really incredible. But again, it helps you identify the different facets of the fig note, which can be juicy and fruit-like, but also the wood and the green components to it. By the way, glorious. This one here is absolutely, already it's beginning to get that dry papyrus scent profile to it with the black pepper still engaged. Absolutely magic. So there you have it. If you want to develop your ability to pick up different notes within fragrances, my recommendation are these three houses that celebrate that core note. You'll be able to understand it in its full glory. If you really want to begin to pick out key notes in perfumery, Perris Monte Carlo should be your first stop. They have a complete range, whether it's citrus fragrances, whether it's florals, or then those heavier base notes like vetiver and patchouli and ylang-ylang, things of that nature. I love doing perfume FAQs. If you have any questions for me, make sure you put them in the comments. I'll do my research. I'll bring you the facts and we can enjoy it together. Thanks everyone. I look forward to your comments. We'll see you guys all on the next episode.